PGDM badge. The responses and enthusiasm shown by all the students has been really encouraging. Let us start today's day with a quote by Brian Herbert. The capacity to learn is a gift. The ability to learn is a skill. The willingness to learn is a choice. You are willing to learn, which shows your positive attitude. With this positivity, let us begin our day with a session on what makes a great future manager by Miss Reeba Kapoor. Miss Kapoor is a successful entrepreneur, coach, and a motivational speaker. She has a genuine passion for coaching, and that is what makes her a thorough and passionate coach. Over 16 years of experience of working with Financial Times Stock Exchange 100 companies in India and UK, people, teams, and consistently adding value through personal coaching and training, she lives to coach and develop the right content. She has a strong background in sales, recruitment and training within education, financial services, oil and gas, pharmaceutical, IT, manufacturing, automobile, FMCG, telecom, and utilities arena. She is a well-researched, methodical, and an unconventional thinker who is passionate about working with people, teams, and companies to help them reach their goals through training. We welcome you, ma'am. Over to you.
Lovely. Thank you so much. I'm hoping that everybody that's on the call is truly excited just the way like I am. Guys, this is once in a lifetime opportunity where you become a part of such a great institution. You will be given a lot of different tools to be successful. And honestly, each one of you in this call, you got to be accountable. You got to have your ownership to make sure that you use all these tools and all the facilities that have been given to you and actually turn up and become a future manager. I have actually lined up a small presentation. And in the 17 years of my being in the business, what I've understood is becoming a manager, becoming a leader, it is a decision. You decide for yourself that I want to rise and I want to become a leader. I want to become a manager. And in that process, it takes, of course, it will see a better version of you every single day. So what does that mean? That means that when you take a decision that you want to turn yourself into a leader, into a manager, it will require you to put in a lot of hard work, a lot of conscious training, a lot of, what would I say, effort. And it will actually tell you to become more vigilant about who you are today and who you want to become in the future, say 5 years down the line, 6 years down the line. So your journey from point A to point B requires a better version of you. So what is that few things that you can do and it's expected from a future manager is what I'm going to be sharing with all of you through this presentation. So hang in there. Let's exchange, a few thoughts. And then perhaps if there will be an opportunity for me to ask, for you guys to ask me some questions, I'll be happy to, answer those as well. So guys, my name is Reeba. Welcome to the session. And let's talk about what does a future manager looks like. So I'm just going to share a small presentation. Just bear with me 1 second. Just hold on. All right. Can the host please tell me if everybody can see my presentation? Anybody from Lloyd, could you please confirm with me if you can see my presentation?
Yes, Reeba, we can see. Thank you.
Thank you, Vandana. Thank you so much. All right. So guys, welcome. Future manager. And how does a future manager look like? Now, my tip number one to all of you who are listening and who are tuned in, you've got to do some, we say hashtag groundwork. Nothing happens when there is no groundwork, when there is no preparation. So tip number one, a future manager is the person, a future leader is a person who will have the ability to create concrete from abstract. Now, what does that mean? I'm sure all of you know that we are at the cusp of great innovation. You know, we've got AI, we've got analytics, we've got ML, we've got IoT, we've got all these great technologies who are surrounded, you know, who are surrounding us right now. The future manager will have the ability to look into the distant future and actually comprehend and create new ideas from nothing, from the air. So if you are somebody who wants to become a future manager, I'll say start working on your creativity, your creative quotient, your creativity, your ability to turn ideas into reality right now. And for that, the most important thing is you need to start observing things that are around you. You need to start analyzing the gaps that are around you. You need to be well connected with the community, with your college, with your outside world, and you need to start networking right now. So guys, it's very, very important. A future manager, you can only become a future manager if you are going to have that sense of creating concrete from abstract ideas. It is very, very, it will be a skill that you will have to have. Because as we say that, you know, there is so many things we've not seen in the future. We don't even know what's going to come up. So for you to excel, for you to be accepted as a leader and as a future manager, you got to work on your creativity. You got to work on your innovative skills. You got to channelize your brain. You got to brain tease. You got to have observational ability. So you can see things in the distant future and analyze yourself, understand the gaps, and create things, you know, from nothing really. There was this organization I used to work with, and I really connected with the leaders there. There's one thing they told me. It's like, Reeba, we are not looking for a pair of hands anymore. What we're looking for is somebody who is a sparky, somebody who can come, rotate the ideas, and create something that does not exist. Give us an idea that, you know, will change the future. So guys, for you, people who want to become a future manager, start thinking differently. Because only when you start thinking differently, apply all the technological advancement that's happening around us, you are going to start creating concrete from abstract. So that's tip number one. If somebody wants to become a future manager, that's tip number one. Next, if you are aiming and you are going to take a decision that, Reeba, you know what? I have to become a future leader. I will become a future manager. Then there is tip number two for all of you who are tuned in. You need to become emotionally intelligent. Now, what does it say, guys? I'm sure all of you have taken a flight from point A to point B. Have you ever seen that outside the cockpit, you know, it says that flying is a very serious profession. Leave all your worries and, you know, all your worries behind the door. That's exactly what I will tell you. Emotionally intelligent people become great leaders and become great managers. Why? Because they do not bring negative emotions into play, especially when they're at work. They come across as professional. They come across as people who are balanced. They come across as people whose emotions cannot be read. They're mostly, you know, I don't know how many of you know what poker is, but if you have played poker, if you've seen people playing poker, they predominantly have poker face. In situations that demand emotion, they have poker face, which means you can't really read if they are sad, if they are negative, if they are, you know, full of any negative emotion. Of course, you should portray and show your positive emotions. That's, of course, very, very, very important. But you got to be emotionally balanced. I want to tell all of you out on the call, guys, there are three types of egos that mostly play at workplace and that you will, of course, encounter later on. One is the child ego, one is your parent ego, and one is your adult ego. Now, you know how a child behaves, right? A child can be stubborn, a child can be moody, a child can portray all the possible emotions possible. You do not want to have you know, ego of a child. Now, what do parents do? Parents can come across as, you know, somebody who's controlling, somebody who could be dominating, somebody who can, you know, really put pressure and micromanage sometimes. We do not want to have parent ego. You want to have an adult ego. Each time you will be confronted with a situation, you need to step out, take a deep breath, and imagine how the other person is feeling and thinking right now. A future manager will be expected to use emotions in a very balanced way. They will be required to be emotionally absolutely balanced. They will be required to be very aware of themselves. And guys, what I'm trying to tell you is, it does not mean that you will not have your challenges. What I'm saying is, of course, at work there will be tons of people oriented challenges that are going to come through. But if you want to become a manager, if a future manager, if you talk about it, this future manager will hold a very high position when it comes to being emotionally intelligent. You will manage your relationships professionally with a lot of ease, with keeping your emotions aside, using unbiased opinions, and you will be known for your ability to really talk situations through. All right. So guys, create concrete from abstract. Become emotionally intelligent. That is very, very important. So you have a better EQ. Guys, I don't know how many of you know this, but sometimes people with better emotional intelligence than having a better IQ excel more at work. So do not refrain from getting more training on emotional quotient. Future manager will be required to become emotionally intelligent. I hope you all are still with me. Let's get to next point, which is very, very important. And a future manager will definitely be required to have this skill. People quotient. Now think about this, right? Guys, people buy from people. People make you at work. People are going to give you permission to lead at work. People are responsible for your promotions. People are responsible for giving you great projects. People are responsible, your managers, your bosses are responsible for churning the positive energy that you all will have. So guys, it's very, very important that if today you are somebody who is an introvert, that's nothing wrong in being an introvert. What I'm trying to say is somebody who doesn't like talking to people, who doesn't like participating, who doesn't like networking, who doesn't have a natural skill of, just going and talking to people, definitely you got to work on your people quotient. It is important that eventually this future manager will have permission to lead. So if you have taken a decision that, Reeba, you know what, I definitely will become a future manager, then you need to develop your people skills. People should be able to like you. People should be able to come and talk to you. You should have no barriers. You should have a positive spread of energy. So people think that you are their go-to person for everything. And also, people should understand that you are not biased. You will listen to them and then you will give them the right and wrong of whatever is the situation. So guys, when you're doing this groundwork and becoming a future manager will definitely have greater people skills, greater people quotient. There is no way you can become a future manager if you do not have people orientation. All right. So guys, I always say this little thing, that how do you become people oriented? Something very, very little that you guys can do. Connect with people without agenda. You can do this right now when you are at the university. And of course, once you graduate, connect with people, have a smile on your face, talk to people, listen to people. There's no harm in connecting with people without agenda. Zaruri nahi hai कि जब काम हो तभी आप किसी से बात करें. You should be somebody who people can just come and talk to anytime. Of course, people orientation also means that you understand behavior of other people in a little bit more detail, which I'm going to talk about in the next couple of slides. So guys, it's very, very important that you do this. All right. Now let's move on to something which is even greater. As I was just saying, that yes, of course, you're going to create concrete from abstract. Of course, you're going to be emotionally very intelligent. Of course, you're going to have, permission to lead, and you're going to become a people-oriented individual if you want to become a future manager. But the most important skill, and I'm going to spend a few minutes here. This is a technique that was shared with me with through my coach. His name is Dr. Kubus Needling. He's a South African. And something that I'm an accredited coach on becoming a whole brain leader. Now, guys, how many of you agree with me on this? That, and answer this for me, people like people who are like home. They like people who are like themselves. And in order to do that, a future manager will be required to understand behavior at workplace and wherever they go, like nobody else's business. You need to understand how people behave. You need to understand what your behavior is. And then you need to make a strategy that works for you and for your team. Now, I want to expand a little bit about what is a whole brainer. Just give me a minute. All right. So guys, I'm sure all of you on this call know that we have left side of the brain and right side of the brain, right? And I'm sure all of you know that left side is known for your logical thinking and right side is usually, labeled as, creative side of the brain. Now, I want to break this behavior down for you a little more. After this call, there's a small homework for all of you who want to become future managers. I want all of you to really understand that this is my brain preference. This is how I work. And when I go to, when I start working and I want to become a future manager, I do not only want to play with my brain preference, I also want to understand what I lack and then build my personality and my skills around where I'm not very comfortable. And this will become clear with you when I tell you what it means now. So guys, our brain is divided into 8 quadrants, but for today's training, I'm going to talk about 4 quadrants, okay? It's called left 1, left 2, right 2, and right 1. I'll repeat that. Your brain has 8 major quadrants, but we're talking about the 4 major quadrants today. L1, L2, R2, and R1. Now guys, all of you on this call who are L1 will be really great at these few things that I'm going to talk about right now. You will be a number-oriented person. Perhaps you will like calculations, you will like analysis, you will like data, you will like concrete information, you are well-researched. Everything for you is numbers, information, facts, figures. You like precise information. You are probably not very formal in your approach. You sometimes, come across as a reserved individual, a reserved professional. But deep down, you are amazing at setting goals for yourself. You have a big status quo. You want to reach somewhere. You've got bigger dreams that you play with. Guys, people who are L1, the only language and mostly the language that they understand is your ability to communicate numbers with them. Everything you talk to them should have proof. Either it should be through research, either it should be through numbers, either it should be through, your facts, figures, reports, your case studies, whatever it is. When you are going to go and communicate to this individual at work, this could be your boss, it could be your senior boss, it could be your teammate, it could be anybody. You need to communicate with them through numbers. That's what they're going to understand. If you're going to talk to them in any other language, perhaps they're not going to be impressed and you're not going to get promoted. All right. So keep an eye out when you go out and start working. Keep an eye out for this manager, for this leader who is responsible maybe for your promotion, for your growth, for giving you good projects. If he understands numbers, you need to start developing your number skill and talk to him in numbers. All right. Then we've got, so L1, number-oriented people. Now L2. Now guys, a lot of us on this call perhaps love to organize, love to plan, love to be, methodical. Everything is bullet points. Everything you have to, you love writing notes. You want to be well prepared. If there is a project meeting, you want to go with all the documents. If there is an interview, you want to go with all the details, your certificates, your CV and everything else and of course, you'll never forget the pen. So guys, if once you start working and all the people around you, they could be your family, friends, your future manager, whoever it is, if you see this person is really, really well planned, follows a timetable, is very punctual, likes to come prepared in the meetings, always has his paperwork on the point, never misses a deadline, is very methodical, bullet points, and he's always asking you for more and more information, you should take a step back, take a deep breath, and you should know that this is an L2 individual. For me to be successful with this future, with this maybe future manager of yours, you need to then be super, super meticulous in your way you present your cases, the way you will present your emails, the way you will present your written communication, the way you will go prepared in a meeting. So if you want to become a future manager and you have an L2 boss who is there for your responsible for your growth and for your promotion and for your projects, you need to start becoming a bit more planned. I don't know how many of you on this call are meticulous planners, but if you are not, then after this after this seminar, we need to start thinking, how do I become a whole brainer? So tomorrow when I go out there and start working and I aim to become a future manager, I can speak the language that everybody understands. And my strategy will be based on the kind of behavior I'm going to read at my workplace. So guys, is that clear? So L1, number-oriented people. L2, you've got, planners. You've got people who organize. So you've got organizational quadrant. All right. Then let's move on to the right side of the brain. Now, guys, I'm sure everybody knows this, that R2 quadrant stands for people-oriented individual. Now, these are going to be the people in your life who love people. Everything for them is team success. Everything for them is people success. Everything they do, is about people. They love sharing stories. They love talking to people. उनको ये भी मालूम होता है कि आपने रात को खाने में क्या खाया, because they love talking to you. They love asking you questions. You have a great bond with these people. Guys, when you are at workplace, you need to develop your R2 quadrant. As I said to you, people quotient, emotional intelligence, they are a part of your whole brain. They're a part of your R2 quadrant. Abhi, if I share with you after this, couple of minutes, I will share with you my brain profile. And I'll tell you how I became and how I managed to, do what I do today, because based on my whole brain strategy. All right. So guys, R2, maybe your bosses, whoever it is, they are going to have people orientation. So for them, you need to be somebody who's approachable, somebody who cares about people, somebody who always finds a people angle in their innovations, in their strategies, in their, in the way they operate, in the way they work. You always are coming up with ideas that are going to help people at your workplace. So if you take a decision, guys, today that you are going to turn yourself into a manager, into a future leader, you got to work on your R2, your right 2, which is your people orientation. All right. Now let's talk about the last quadrant, which is very, very, very important. And that is your R1 quadrant. Now, what is R1? Guys, R1 is your quadrant that is known for being an Imagineer, is known for being a strategist. Now, people in this quadrant, they are always challenging what is existing. When we talk about creating concrete from abstract, R1 people are perhaps the most gifted when it comes to, creating those ideas. But that doesn't mean everybody else cannot. It's just about taking a decision. R1 are creative. They think out of the box. They are always challenging this, ideas that are existing. They are more interested in things that have not happened. They have a larger than life vision. They are always constantly working on lots of different things. So the concentration level can be a little low, because they're always, occupied in lots of different things. Their mind is always full of what next, what now. I'm multiple, they're always working on multiple ideas. So guys, it's very, very important. If you have a manager or a boss at work, who is a person who's always challenging what's around and wants to do something out of the box, who's not a mundane thinker, then you need to brush up your thinking skills. You need to brush up your ability to imagine things that are not even existing. So guys, that's where your ability to create concrete from abstract is going to come. Now guys, I'll quickly repeat this. L1, numbers. L2, people orientation. L2, organizational quadrant. R2, your people orientation, and R1 is your thinking quadrant. Now, a future manager, whoever will take a decision today after this seminar, if you want to become a future manager, you need to become a whole brainer. which means you're going to understand your behavior first. And then you're going to understand that I'm good at maybe L1 and R2, but I'm not good at L2 and R1. But for me to be able to become a future manager, and if I want to succeed, I need to speak and develop my L1, which is my planning skills, and also my idea generation skills, because you need to come across as a whole brainer, and every kind of behavior should be able to align to you. So guys, it's very important, once you get off the seminar, please make sure you go back and do this little homework, that you know what is your brain preference and what are the areas you need to develop, you need to work on. So then tomorrow you speak the language that everybody will understand. You will have a better chances of getting that success that you will be demanding at your workplace. I hope I've answered that for you. Now, let me just quickly take you through a few more before we sort of, finish this, and I might be able to take some of your questions. All right. Now, anybody can guess what the next one is? Guys, very, very, again, as I said, everything I'm saying is very, very important, because I have only taken out the gems, of how, what kind of, who can become a future manager. And honestly, I think this should have been in my first slide, that you need to become a great listener. So guys, when you are a great listener, you can create concrete from abstract. You can become emotionally intelligent. You will have great people quotient. You will be a whole brainer only when you're listening. And then of course, comprehend your strategy as per the requirement. Develop listening skills. Read in between the lines. See, just by keeping quiet, how much you can learn. Of course, when you're speaking, you're only saying things, but when you're listening, you can learn so much more. All right. And of course, we've been given one mouth and 2 ears. There's a reason for it. Speak less and listen more. Guys, in my 17 years of being in a corporate world, being a coach, being whatever I do, I've traveled the world, I have always noticed that people who are the most successful take a deep breath, they take a step back, they will listen, and then they will advise you. If you are if you don't have this skill, I'll say get formal training in becoming a great listener. It requires a lot of perseverance, patience, perpetual effort if you want to become a great listener. I'm going to share with you this small thing, that I was not a great listener when I started my career. I'll say 16 years ago. And honestly, I did lose out on few little opportunities that I did not appreciate. And when I did a little bit, I took a step back and I started doing a little bit of, why is that this happened to me? And, I did not get this chance to succeed. The most important thing that I found out, that people thought I was a bit abrupt. I was a bit impatient and impulsive. And honestly, I used to speak very, very fast. That also gave people an impression that, I can't do serious work. So I will really say that if you take a decision today to become a future leader, future manager, always use your ears and mouth in the right proportion. Speak less and listen more. It's quite ironical that the job that I do today, of course, I get paid for speaking, but I only speak when I listen to my clients, when I understand what they're after. I then, devise my strategy as per. So guys, listening is very, very important. Today, even as a coach, I'm only able to deliver a successful program at a client site only when I listen to what their gaps are, what they want. Clients don't call you back if you have not delivered what they want you to deliver. All right. It will also happen with you in your corporate world. If you do not deliver what they have asked you to deliver, your credibility will go down. And for you to survive in the corporate world, or even as a self-employed in business, that you got to start listening to your clients. You got to start listening to people and really give them what they're after. So guys, everybody who doesn't like to listen, to your moms, start listening to her as well, because she is always right. Okay. I think that's the first thing that you can start doing. Start listening to your parents, start listening to your mom specifically, because honestly, when you get to my age, you'll be like, yeah, you know what, ma'am, Reeba, you were absolutely right. Mothers are always right. That's your first sort of exercise that you need to start doing. Start listening to your mother, because only when you start listening to her, you start understanding the importance of what she says. Only then you will be able to take that to the corporate world. So yes, no more complaints, guys. All right, so you can start listening to your mothers now. Okay, guys, let's move on. I've got a few more things to share with you. All right. So guys, when you do all of this and you have developed yourself, and the future manager, has all these skills that I've just spoken about, but if you do not communicate and you're not articulate, and you do not know how to write an email, you don't know how to put, your words properly in front of an audience, you don't have presentation ability, then guys, this future, then unfortunately, the journey of becoming a future manager it looks bleak. So this future manager, regardless of what they're doing, whatever skills they have, technical skills they have, they got to have this non-technical ability, which is communication. You should be formally, I'll say, trained to how to communicate properly. This future manager will definitely be a great orator, will have great communication skills, will have great articulation. There is no way that you can become a future manager without having a great sense of communication. I'll say, use this time and opportunity to develop your own communication style, sound different, sound smart. There is no harm in, sounding amazing. So guys, please make sure that you get trained on your communication skills if you plan to become a future manager, because a future manager will definitely have to have good communication skills. All right. All right, guys, this brings me to, I think, the last sort of slide. I want to share this with you, that a future manager will be why did I say positive problem solver? Because you cannot survive without being positive in the coming times. You've got to practice positivity perpetually. What does that mean? You've got to stay positive every single minute, because the challenges of the future are very different from the challenges of the present and of the past. So a future manager will have to have a positive mindset and will not be thinking about, problems, will be thinking about how to solve them. So you will be a positive problem solver. If you can't solve problems of the future, there is no way you can become a future manager. So this is one of the most important things, and one of the most important skills that you got to develop, that you need to start looking at. Have a positive mindset, of course, and start looking at how do you solve a particular problem. People are not looking, future managers, a future manager is not the kind of person who will be looking at, who's always finding problems, but a person who will always be solving problems with a positive mindset. So do not forget that. All right. Okay. This is my last slide. Definitely. Guys, I always say this, no matter if anybody's watching you or not, you should always look business. What does that mean? And EP means you should always have great executive presence. Guys, I don't know how many of you know this coach called Amy Cuddy, a beautiful social scientist. When I say beautiful, I mean what the kind of work that she has done. She's beautiful inside out. She says that, and listen to this very carefully, a future manager will have to have this skill. She says your body language changes your mind changes your behavior, and your behavior changes your results and your outcomes. So iska kya matlab hai? Iska matlab hai you need to have a great body language, you need to dress business, you need to have personal hygiene and personal grooming like nobody else, and you need to have integrity, and your actions should be so wise and integral that you should be a wholesome individual. You need to look and sound business, because there is no way a person who's looking shabby, जिसने बाल भी नहीं बनाए हैं, who doesn't have personal hygiene, who doesn't have a good body language. In fact, imagine if I did the entire presentation like this, right? Stay back straight, your chin up, your shoulders are back. You got to have a great body language, because at the end of the day, आप खुद सोचो, do you judge people? Of course you do. How do you judge people? Sometimes when it could be your interviewer, it could be your professor, it could be a person at the wedding, it could be anywhere. You judge them the way they're dressed. You judge them the way they're carrying themselves. You judge them based on their ability to, walk or, look smart. Trust me, in the corporate world, a future manager will have great confidence, will have great executive presence, will have the ability to, वो जो कहेंगे वो ही करेंगे. So इसको बोलते हैं gravitas. You got to have great gravitas if you want to be successful. कहीं आपको कोई देख रहा है या नहीं देख रहा है? Before getting into any presentation, before getting into anything, you need to strike a power pose. Be powerful, be energetic. Let your energy develop and let your energy take over the room. Guys, have you seen people who don't speak anything? They will be standing in a room, but you want to know them. You want to know more about them. You are pulled towards them. You think, what? They're so charismatic. A future manager will have to have all these skills, all right? And guys, last but not the least, अगर आप एक अच्छे इंसान नहीं हैं, and you don't live with integrity, you don't cheat people, you are honest, you're accountable, you have ownership, आप अपनी responsibility लेते हैं, आप, you respect your elders, you are happy to help other people, you have empathy for other people. If you are not a good human being, then you can definitely not become a future manager. A future manager will definitely be a good human. There is no way out. And if you become a good human, then everything else is going to fall into its own place. You got to live with integrity. लोग आप पे भरोसा कर सके, आप पे trust कर सके. When that happens and when you're a good human being, trust me, success is at the door. And then you just need to open the door and let the success come in. And of course, guys, groundwork करना बहुत important है. ये जो future manager है, ये मेहनत करने से नहीं डरेगा. ये future manager अपने आप को रोज एक नए version में देखेगा. ये future manager challenges accept करेगा. ये future manager कुछ हट के होगा, कुछ अलग होगा, क्योंकि ordinary लोगों के लिए future में जगह नहीं है. So start thinking differently. Start preparing, yourself for this dynamic future that awaits all of you. All right. So guys, thank you very much. This is Coach Reeba. And I have only one message for all of you. I'll say become awesome. And the industry is waiting for all of you to become this great future leader and future manager. So thank you very much. I'm going to stop sharing this and I'm back on the presentation. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, ma'am. So, ma'am, there's one question which the student is willing to ask.
Please.
Navdeep is asking, what are the activities we should do every day to balance all the quadrants of our brain?
All right. So, guys, that's very, who's asked it? Give me the name again. Navdeep.
Navdeep. Yes, ma'am.
Awesome. So, Navdeep, very good question, I will say. Number one, today when once you finish your orientation for today, I'll highly recommend that you go back, make a mind map, and first of all, try to understand what is your behavior. Okay. What are your quadrants that you excel in? Now, I don't know what your quadrants are, but for example, you're saying, ma'am, I'm an L2 and an R2, which means that, your strongest quadrants are, देखो, सबके अंदर सारे quadrants होते हैं. If I talk about my brain profile, I'll explain it to you through my brain profile, actually. So what happened? My brain profile is, my number one quadrant is R1, then I'm in L2, then I'm in L1, and then I am in R2. So I did a mind map and I said, okay, and I actually took a scientific test as well, whole brain like scientific test bhi aata hai. So I understood. I said, look, Reeba, you are good at probably R1, ideas and all of that. You're good at probably planning and making those ideas a success, because I couldn't have finished writing a book if I was not good at planning and, executing my idea of writing a book. Okay. But then I thought, I'm not probably connecting with my clients who are, people oriented. Maybe my emails are fizzling out, my communication and connect is fizzling out because I'm not very good at numbers. And also I might be losing out on business, or maybe I'm losing out on clients because I'm not very good with people. So I consciously I'll talk about number L1. How did I develop my L1? I actually started doing a little bit of mental maths. I started, whenever I used to, I understood that my clients L1 hai. I started, writing emails in a precise manner. I started speaking less with L1 clients. I started understanding that if I tell them that this is the ROI. I have to really give them a particular percentage. So Navdeep, the idea is आप पहले अपना quadrants को understand करो, और जो quadrant आपका strength नहीं है, you need to start working on that quadrant. Now, as I said to you that, I started developing my number ability. I started doing a lot more research. I started reading a lot more numbers, and I started putting numbers in my presentations and in the way I was writing and communicating with people. So L1s could connect with me, right? That's how I became successful with L1. Now with R2, what I started doing, I started participating a lot more with people. I started doing a lot more conversations. I started connecting a lot more with people. I used to drop them, messages once in a while. So I took a conscious decision that my people quotient is not probably, I don't choose to, socialize too much, but I started, meeting people a lot more and networking with people a lot more than I did. And it honestly, changed the world of my coaching. So it's important, first of all, you understand what is your strength, and then whatever quadrants are not your strength, you need to see कि उस quadrant का, उस quadrant में आप क्या कर सकते हैं. Now, for example, L2. Now, if you're not good at planning, if you're not good at, being methodical, if you're not good at, being on time, and, you do not write too much. So I'd say start seeking more and more information, start giving more and more information. If you find that there is a manager or a teacher or a professor, who likes more and more information. And of course, if you're not an R1, then of course, you need to start, again, I'll say, take out and make time for idea generation. Take out time for, building strategies on different ideas. Think and brainstorm, read. I'll say, guys, all of you on this call, you want to be successful in your placement drives. You want to, do well at corporate world. You should start reading. And once you start reading, there is so much more that you will be able to talk about, to the people around you, and you come across, well researched. So Navdeep, आपका जो भी quadrant है, your strength quadrant, you keep working at that. Whatever it's not, look at what is demanded by that quadrant and start preparing yourself accordingly. Okay, great. Do I have another question?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much. Ma'am, the second question is from Priya. She is asking, how can we apply emotional intelligence in administrative practices?
Okay, so guys, emotional intelligence is a skill, is a tool that is regardless of wherever you are, no matter what job you're doing, either it's administrative or it's technical, non-technical, whatever it is that you're doing. Emotional intelligence is, listen to this, right? Emotional intelligence is your ability to handle professional relationships. It's got nothing to do with the kind of job that you're doing. Emotionally intelligent people, I'll tell you, as I said to you, they operate with an adult ego, which means that mostly they do not show emotions, especially the negative emotions, at their workplace. So Priya, even if you're doing an administrative job, whatever it is that you're doing, अगर आप अपने emotions को control करते हो, एक दिमाग में एक चीज होती है, उसको बोलते हैं amygdala. Amygdala से आपके सारे emotions आते हैं, गुस्सा, sadness, angry, whatever, jealousy, whatever it is, negative emotions. If you control your amygdala, if you can control your emotions for that one tiny second and think from the other person's perspective and operate in your adult ego, the idea is whatever job you're doing, you will be highly successful. Because आज के ज़माने में, trust me, emotionally intelligent लोग बहुत कम है professional world में. When you go, you will find out. So if you become one of those people, it will be seriously a great benefit to you. So don't show your emotions unless and until, they are positive. और जब मैं ये नहीं कह रही हूँ कि जैसे आपको, for example, somebody upset you or somebody has not done the right job, you have to talk to them. You can be firm. You can be confident in your tone. You can talk to them with a lot of confidence and, an affirmity in your voice and authority in your voice. But that does not mean that it's, it's a negative emotion. I'll say, and also treat everybody equally. आपके लिए कोई ज़्यादा कोई कम नहीं होना चाहिए. Emotionally intelligent people have same sort of behavior with everybody. All right. So with these few things, you can actually apply your emotional intelligence. And of course, guys, emotional intelligence is a very big topic. Maybe another day we can have just a seminar on emotional intelligence, and I can do a lot more with you guys. All right. Okay. Can I have, is there another question?
Sure, ma'am. So the next question is from Rishabh. He's asking, what activities should we do in order to increase our interpersonal skills?
Ooh, very good question. Very, very good question, Rishabh. Number one, start reading. All right. Number two, start picking up either an app or a newspaper. I'll say newspaper is a more traditional, much better. Stand in front of the mirror and start reading 2 to 3 paragraphs loudly. All right. Do it for at least a couple of weeks and then see the magic happening in your communication. Start reading, start picking up the newspaper and read in front of the mirror. Number three, participate. I'll also say that, participate in conversations wherever you can. I think that really will help you becoming less shy, more confident. And of course, it will develop your ability to, communicate with a variety of people. Number four, I'll say network. Start networking with people on different skills. Make a great profile, participate in discussions on LinkedIn, be a part of the groups. Guys, I know that physical events abhi nahi ho rahe hain because of COVID, but Rishabh, whenever you get a chance, start going to these, these networking events. That will really enhance your, your interpersonal skills. I also say, practice your presentations. Whatever is that, you want to, so for example, there's a presentation at the university or at work, whatever it is, start preparing, practicing your presentations. Only once when you really, well practiced, great results are going to come through. Practice articulation. Now, how do you practice articulation? Take part in dramatics. Perhaps start recording your own videos. I'll say that's a great way of, improving your body language, your ability to talk. I'll say start your YouTube channel. I'll say if you're not bothered to do that, I'll say start recording your own videos. Pick up a topic and talk about it. Trust me, from your first video to your 5th video, you will be a different person. I think that's a fantastic new age tool to, actually improve your interpersonal skills. Then I'll say, guys, interpersonal skills bhi do tarike ke hote hain. Ek to hoti hai interpersonal, which is, your ability to communicate with others. And then one is intrapersonal. Now, what is intrapersonal? It's ability to talk to yourself. Rishabh, I will highly recommend do mind map. कोई भी problem आती है किसी भी बारे में, you want to analyze. I'll say start mind mapping. Maybe, for example, you want to talk about, a particular person, or you want to talk about a particular idea. Make time to sit with yourself. Do mind map, do painting, do write, creative writing. ये सारे old school techniques हैं, लेकिन trust me, आज भी इनसे अच्छे techniques नहीं हैं. So interpersonal के लिए, you challenge yourself and do things in front of the camera, in front of, an audience, in front of the mirror, in front of a video. And for intrapersonal, you sit in solitude, you write, you read, you do mind mapping, do coloring, do painting, listen to podcasts, listen to other people who are, talking about a lot of things. So Rishabh, there is so much that you can do in order to improve, your body language, your interpersonal ability to talk, to communicate, to articulate, and of course, intrapersonal ability to become a better thinker. All right, cool. I hope I've answered a little bit.
Thank you so much, ma'am. That was a wonderful answer. Ma'am, Kaushal is asking, what are the reasons that the bosses in the company sometimes becomes rude to their employees?
Awesome. Hey, good question. See, guys, we always say, right, that people don't leave jobs, they leave bad bosses. Having a boss who you find rude could be few reasons. Number one, it could be your perspective. Number two, ऐसा हो सकता है कि जो वो आपसे expect कर रहा है, आप उसका behavior नहीं समझ पा रहे हैं, and you're not giving that person that input. Now वो expect, वो L1 है, आप R1 है, आप उसको ख्याली पुलाव ideas दे रहे हैं, but वो चाहता है कि आप उसको facts, figures, research करके दें. So obviously, आप जब उसको वो नहीं देंगे, जो behavior जो आपसे expect कर रहा है, automatically वो एक rude boss बन जाएगा. So guys, हमेशा चीजों को एक नजरिए से नहीं देखते, दो नजरिए से देखते कि क्या, what are the changes I can also do, in order to become maybe more, how can I make this person like me a little bit more? Understand your boss's behavior. understand वो आपसे क्या expect कर रहा है. So one is आप उसको rude समझते होंगे because of your own perspective. Number two, maybe you're not giving this person what he or she is expecting from you. Number three, this boss of yours is definitely perhaps not an R2, you know, because उनका जो people quotient है वो थोड़ा low है, emotional intelligence है जो वो भी low है. आप अपनी emotional intelligence से, आप अपने people quotient से, you will try and win this person. Also, I will highly recommend, and I swear to God, guys, I'll tell you this one time, I had a very rude boss. And he had, perhaps I would say, zero people ability, because I was very hardworking and everybody in the organization, you know, absolutely loved what I did. But I never used to like the way he used to talk to me, and not just to me, probably a lot of other people, because he had a sense of superiority. So what did I do? And this was early starting of my career. I was in London. I used to work for this company. It's a FTSE 100 company called Kapoor Resourcing. I used to work, and my boss's name was Chris. I never liked him because of course, his lack of his people quotient. Now, I actually confronted him. बहुत सारे लोग नहीं करते ऐसे, but I confronted him and I told him, I said, look, I highly request you not to use this tone of voice with me. You know, speak to me in a certain way. If you want things get done for me, just use email as a communication, you know, tool. I told him that, you know, a lot of people in the organization perhaps find him, you know, not very great to work with. And this is perhaps going to stop, you know, his growth actually forward. Guys, obviously, this might sound really weird to you कि मैंने अपने boss को ही बता दिया कि आप, you know, I'm not very comfortable with the way you speak to me. And trust me, when I confronted him, when I spoke to him, and I spoke to him very politely, his approach towards me changed completely. Uske baad, I also started understanding that what is he expecting from me, all right? And I started improving myself day by day. दो चीजें हुई. He understood me a little bit, I understood him a little bit. And guys, I can guarantee you, and I can tell you this today, whatever I am today, Chris played a very, very, very important role in my professional life. So I thank him enough for being rude. So I confronted him. You know, I did not take what was given to me. I had the audacity to, at that point in time, talk to him. And then, guys, we always say, अगर आप दबते रहेंगे, लोग आपको दबाते रहेंगे. So, आपको emotionally intelligent होना है. आपको समझदारी से, अगर कोई आपको bully कर रहा है काम पे या कोई rude boss है, you talk to them properly, confront them. And India में लोगों को confront करना पसंद नहीं है. मुझे, I know this very, very well. People don't confront. They'll bitch about you at the back, but they will not confront you. So आपको अपने gravitas को maintain करना है. आपको integrity से काम करना है. आपको किसी के बारे में बुराई नहीं करना है उसके पीछे. Like an intelligent, emotionally intelligent individual, you're going to go and talk to that person, whoever you find bossy or bullying or somebody who's not giving you what you require. All right? You talk what you feel and you will be successful. All right?
Thank you, ma'am. The next question is from Vinay Yadav. He's asking, how can we be always motivated? Because the problems are part of our life. So how can we stop our mind not to divert from the goals?
Sorry, who's given this question? What's his name?
Ma'am, Vinay.
Vinay, what a good question. And multi-million dollar question पूछा है आपने मुझसे. Multi-million dollars मुझे मिलने चाहिए इसके जवाब के लिए. All right? It is. I've also done a video on this, guys. If you check out my Instagram, and I would highly request all of you to, you know, follow my Instagram as well, because I keep posting these videos. There's a you know, a lot on my book as well. So yeah, follow me and stay connected with me. All right. Vinay, self motivation सिर्फ एक ही वजह से आ सकती है. All right. Again, I'll say this. Nobody can motivate you, Vinay. As I say, कोई पॉडकास्ट, कोई बुक, कोई कोच, कोई जिंदगी की बहुत बड़ी घटना, कोई आपको मोटिवेट नहीं कर सकता. सिर्फ एक ही इंसान है. अगर आप अभी उठेंगे अपनी सीट से और शीशे में जाके देखेंगे, you'll see yourself. There is only one person who is going to motivate you, that is yourself. And nobody else in this world can motivate you. Self motivation इतना important tool है, because it's the only thing that's going to get you from point A to point B. Of course, self motivated का ये मतलब नहीं होता है कि आप अपने challenges को लेके upset नहीं होंगे. या आप अपने challenges से गिरेंगे नहीं, or you're not going to fail. Self motivation is a tool that you stay in that zone. You decide, Reeba, you know what, I failed in this task today, but I'm only going to, moan about this for half an hour. Uske baad I'm going to pick up my pieces and I'm going to start running again. So Vinay, आप गिरोगे, आप फेल भी होगे, आप डगमगाओगे भी, आप परेशान भी होगे, आप अपसेट भी होगे, लेकिन motivation, self motivation comes when you have already taken a decision that I am not going to waste more than this much amount of time on this, and then I'm going to pick up my pieces and I'm going to start running again. आपको जिंदगी में कोई मोटिवेट नहीं कर सकता है, लेकिन आपको अपना ये खुद का डिसीजन लेना है कि रीबा, आई एम गोइंग टू टेक अ डिसीजन टुडे दैट नो मैटर व्हाट कम्स, yes, of course I will be depressed, I will be upset, I will be angry, I will be sad, a lot of emotions are going to come through, लेकिन मैं उस इमोशन में बहुत देर तक नहीं बैठूंगा. I will look at it as an emotionally intelligent individual. I'll assess my situation and I'll pick up my pieces and I'm going to start running again. And that's exactly what I do every single day, Vinay. All right. मैं रोज ये करती हूँ. I think you can understand COVID has disrupted a lot in people's life. All right. Including, coaches and teachers and everybody. You got to be resilient, Vinay. Resilient का क्या मतलब होता है? जो भी आए, उसको बस take it with a pinch of salt, pick up your pieces and start running again. Self-motivation also means you got to navigate your positive realms of your brain. हमेशा positive सोचो. Negative बहुत जल्दी आता है दिमाग में, but do make a conscious decision that no, I want to stay positive. जो होगा देखा जाएगा. मैं इस emotion में बहुत थोड़ी देर रहूंगा. उसके बाद I'm going to pick up my pieces and I'm going to start running. Become resilient, Vinay. And you are already a future manager because you asked me this fantastic question. So I wish you all the best and I wish you all the love. Okay. Yes, ma'am. I'll take my last question, ma'am.
Sure, ma'am.
Yeah.
So there's this question from Sonal. She's asking what kind of interpersonal skills requires the ability to listen attentively and process information correctly?
Okay. So what kind of interpersonal? Okay. First of all, you got to be observant. You got to have patience, you got to have focus, you got to have your ability to, what else? Your ability to comprehend and receive information. I say most importantly, observation, patience, focus, your ability to just, comprehend. अगर आप ये चार चीजें करते हैं, you will definitely end up becoming a good listener. And of course, empathy. How can I forget empathy? I'm sure you understand empathy, which means that your ability to think from other people's perspective, put yourself in their shoe, have a great heart and, always be willing to sort of, listen and help people out. So अगर आप empathetic हैं, आप observant हैं, आप patient हैं, आप focused हैं, determined हैं, you are, of course, again, if you're motivated, I'm sure your listening ability will definitely improve. All right, ma'am, I can take one more question if there is any.
Okay. Ma'am, Sonal is again asking, how can we deal with criticism?
Okay, very good, Sonal. Good question. First of all, what is criticism? It's a kind of feedback. Dekho, guys, I mean, obviously, around feedback, there is a big training that we need to do, how to take feedback. पहली बात तो सोनल, जब कोई फीडबैक दे तो ना आप उसको पॉजिटिव लें ना उसको नेगेटिव लें. फीडबैक इज फीडबैक. When a person or a manager comes to you with feedback, you ask for see where they're coming from. See क्या उनके पास relevant information है to back what they are saying. If they have proofs and relevant information to back up the feedback that they're giving, I will not say criticism. I'll say you have to train yourself. Negative नहीं सोचना है. जरूरी नहीं है कि जो भी इंसान आपको आके आपके बारे में बता रहा है वो criticism ही हो. All right. You could also think that this is feedback. Feedback का जो nature होता है, that's neither positive neither negative. Feedback is feedback. First of all, Sonal, as a a future manager, आपके भी ये काम आएगा. जब आप किसी को feedback देंगे, always go well prepared when you are giving the feedback. आप ये देखें क्या आपका manager, is this manager coming with lots of proofs? Does he have examples to showcase that I have not done well in this particular aspect? If you're happy with the proofs he has given you, then please do not take it to heart and look at the feedback as feedback and work on your next steps. But if you are not happy with the proofs that this person has given, then you say, thank you so much for giving me this feedback, not criticism, this feedback. Go back, prepare your proofs and request another meeting with this manager and say, I know you said this, but now may I present my case to you? Then you present your case to this person, and then there will be a great room of negotiation and conversations. Corporate world mein jo dar gaya, wo mar gaya. You got to talk, you got to confront with professionalism, emotional intelligence and empathy. बात करेंगे, लोग डरते हैं उन लोगों से जो confront करते हैं. They are the real leaders जो confront करते हैं. So with a lot of positivity, a lot of proofs, you go and meet this manager again and you tell them that I think this is what I have found out. I'm happy to take these points forward from here. This is what I'm not happy with. And feedback को feedback की तरह treat करें. और सोनल जब आप manager बनेंगे, कभी भी proof के बिना feedback नहीं देना है किसी को. And feedback को feedback की तरह लेना है. All right? Thank you so much.
Thank you.